The strength of the Phillies bullpen has been a massive talking point across this entire season, but Rob Thomson seems to have made a change, throwing some high leverage innings to a new particular pitcher with Orion Kerkering stepping into center stage. Is this the start of his future role as the closer of this baseball team, or just a short-term opportunity? I want to discuss exactly what it means to me that Kerkering is beginning to receive these opportunities and why the writing on the wall was for this to occur in the whole time here. We know Kerkering is a guy who's gotten to the MLB at a very accelerated rate. Let's not forget that his rookie season, pitching just 3 games, just 3 total innings in the regular season before throwing some high leverage opportunities in the postseason there. He's come a far way as a pitcher since this point, and Rob Thomson gave him his first save opportunity, which he threw a perfect inning in. Going to talk about it all right here on Phillies Digest, but as always, doing remind you guys to make sure you are hitting that subscribe button at this point in time. Only about 30% of you guys watch these videos have subscribed to the channel. Don't have the graphic pulled up for this specific video, but that is the numbers we're working with here at Phillies Digest. So we want to grow this family as big as possible. Got a ton more baseball to get into, and now let's talk about our story of today. So for starters, we are freshly on the heels of in the Marlins series, the opening game, that Orion Kerkering earning his first career save tonight. Now this came as a bit of a surprise to everyone on the rosters. We got some funny quotes popping around, like, I was shocked, to tell you the truth. I was surprised too. Like, damn, one person was all too aware of it being Kerkering's first save, that being himself here. Now to dive into a bit of this article, it writes, the clubhouse lit up when reliever Tanner Banks, whose locker sits next to Kerkering's at Citizens Bank Park, started spreading the word. First, the Phillies were surprised. Then the cheering began for the teammate who posted a 6.52 ERA in April before finding his footing and slinging his way to a 0.00 ERA so far in June. Kerkering rediscovered his sweeper, a signature pitch that lost its movement earlier this season. He's pitching with poise, and now he's checked off an elusive first save. 6 save opportunities have passed Kerkering by before he made Miami Marlins third baseman Connor Norby ground out with a 99.2 mile per hour fastball to end Monday night's game. 2 of those outings still troubled Kerkering, even after getting the job done in Miami. There was a 1-run lead with 2 outs in Baltimore last season that the Orioles erased, tying the game when he threw a wild pitch in the 10th inning. Then, in April, he blew a 3-run lead against the Nationals. Quote, last year, I think I was in my head about it, Kerkering said. It's just one of those small defeats, but to finally just get it done and over with, that helps a lot. So it is pretty wild when factoring in how many high leverage innings that Kerkering has pitched, that this being his first career save, but I do think this is a bit of a sign of things to come. More noteworthy to me than just Kerkering being the guy pitching the 9th, it was Jordan Romano being the guy pitching the 7th there. And I understand this is always going to be the Rob Thomson attempted slant, is that it is a matchup thing. And historically, since he's taken over as Phillies manager, that has been the root of his decision making, is that he cares much more about the matchups than the moment here. That he does have in their scouting notebook, having the pitching breakdowns, how these guys have fared against pitchers, as well as the splits, the breakdowns, the right versus left hand, all those kind of conversation. And that is where he makes his decision. I will say, me personally, I don't love that line of thinking here, that regardless of it being a quote-unquote high leverage inning or not, you play 9 innings in a baseball game, so somebody has to throw that final inning here. And this is not to say that I believe Jordan Romano should be reserved the 9th inning on an every game basis. I like that Kerkering is being given an opportunity, but I did think that was worth bringing up. Now, to talk about his track record as a pitcher in save opportunities, he does have experience in the minors. That shout out to Jeff Kerr with a couple great stats here. He tweets, Orion Kerkering has never had a save opportunity in the major leagues. He was 14 of 15 on save opportunities in 2023 in the minors. He will be called up on the 9th, to which he pitched a perfect inning. Now, as far as how hot that he has been of late, his ERA is at 2.54 on the season, a career ERA of 2.39, a 0.53 ERA since May 1st. That is pretty ridiculous stuff there for a guy who is not thrown in the easiest of situations. It feels like it has become the Rob Thomson panic button has been Orion Kerkering, come get us out of a jam. And to his credit, the young pitcher has been effective in this role. There's been plenty of opportunities where he's come in with 2 runners on, no outs, or the bases loaded, 1 out, and found a way to get the job done. That it's been some really impressive stuff, particularly of late for Kerkering here. And I do think in the long run, the vision is for this dude to be the closer of the Phillies in a way that we really have not had. Sure, Craig Kimbrell was a dude who was kind of thrown into that role and expected to be the surefire closer every time the game aligned in that situation, but they really have attacked things in these past couple of seasons with more of a matchup concept, that whether this be Jose Alvarado being the guy or Carlos Estevez, who was the prized addition of last year's midseason trade, deadline. Jeff Hoffman certainly got his opportunities of being the guy there. Even Matt Strahm. And to kind of touch on the career saves for currently on roster on this Phillies team, that we have 113 career saves for Jordan Romano, 12 career saves for Matt Strahm, 4 for both Ranger Suarez and Tanner Banks. Kind of shocked that Tanner Banks' number is that high, to be honest. 2 for Jesus Luzardo, which also caught me off guard. And then 1 for Taijuan Walker, 1 for Christopher Sanchez, 1 for Max Lazar, and 1 for Orion Kerkering. And let's not forget that Taijuan Walker is the one that was that ultimate save, was that unique MLB rule where when you pitch 3+ innings in relief here, that it ends a save pretty much regardless of what the score is. So shout out to Taijuan, who, by the way, pitched very well yesterday as well. There's been some encouraging moments from Taijuan Walker, and I don't believe that he's going to entirely reinvent himself as a bullpen pitcher in the way that I think some people hope, but he's given them some good opportunities, some good innings for this Phillies team, and is a guy that, like, I'm fine with just being around. I'm not saying that this bullpen is a complete picture to this point. The Alvarado suspension certainly changed what the thought process should be and really what their goals should be at the trade deadline here. I do think this team should be looking to take swings and add arms if you still feel confident about them contending, and it has been trending back in that direction. I hope that that low point, that lifeless stretch that we went on, that losing several games in a row there, let's hope that was the low point of the season and that is only up from here. There's still questions to be answered. That Bryce Harper needs to return to this Phillies lineup. We still need to see how all the full pieces fit together. But if this team wants to be serious, I do think that it is about bulking up the bullpen and Kerkering really giving the line a chance of earning that closer role at this point. Now, a couple other notes that I did want to note here. For starters, as far as the career stats here, or career saves that I did want to pull up for Kerkering here. Of course, we have each of these names here. So when kind of speaking about the bullpen as a whole, Strahm's another dude that I kind of want to bring in the mix that I don't think has been the full version of himself this year. And that kind of brings me to the larger overall point for the bullpen of which are the guys that you're locked in and confident in. I do kind of think Kerkering is the only straight answer to this point. That Romano has been better, but certainly has his lulls, and it has a wider range in his fastball than just about any reliever that I can remember. On any given day, he can be between 93 and 98 miles per hour on what that fastball is coming off there, and that is kind of strange to me. A guy like Strahm certainly has taken a bit of a step back. I still think ultimately that he will settle in the long haul and be just fine for this Phillies team, but then when you work down the list, who are the other names? Alvarado will be back for the tail end of the season, but then ineligible from a postseason perspective here. So I do think that still needs to remain a priority, but I will give a little bit of flowers to Rob Thomson for giving Kerkering the chance here. They've been kind of cautious after it was the initial push, get him to the majors, throw him in the mix here. It does feel like that has been scaled back into forcing him to a role. He's still incredibly young and will have his best years ahead of him, but it would not shock me if that he ultimately earns the closer role by the tail end of the season. He got the monkey off his back, he got that first save in the books, and hopefully smooth sailing from here. So I don't think it is coincidental or any sort. I think it is a legitimate storyline that Rob Thomson gave him in the 9th inning, and this also is several games in a row now that we've seen Romano pitch not in the 9th, pitching earlier than that. So I think that is worth reading into a bit at this game, and ultimately we will see what the decision-making process is moving forward. But let me know what you guys think about that, and if you see the vision of Kerkering as the full-time closer moving forward, whether it is this season or in the future. Give those thoughts below. Let me know what you think. As always, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button, dropping a like on this video here. I'll be back talking to you next time, right here on Phillies Digest. Peace.